Good evening, everyone, and welcome to What's the Buzz? This is the show where we ask you the question, what's the buzz, cuz? How you doing? Amelia, what's the buzz,
Hey,
cuz?
hey, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Amelia, we have a familiar face with us tonight. The gentleman was with us last week. He is famous beyond his years and has affected the entire world, yet they know him not. His name is Bruce Clark, and he's the guy who invented the stadium and arena cup holder and movie theater. And no matter where you go, you're going to see a cup holder somewhere at a movie, at a stadium, baseball game, a concert venue. Thank this man for it. His name is Bruce Clark, and he's our guest yet again. Bruce, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm Ducky. Thank you. I'm very well. Unfortunately, I can't hear you except through my phone, so I'm stuck like this, listening to you with my phone.
There you go. Hey, look, it's old school, and it works.
Absolutely.
It works. That's all that counts.
It works well. So when last we spoke, we told the world of your accomplishments and inventions, and impressive as they are, it got even better. I found out a few things about Bruce Clark. We're going to discover, all of us will discover tonight together, and I want to share with my audience. But since we were together last, how have you been? Let's talk about how your week has been. Any feedback from your appearance?
Oh, yes. I had a number of people very impressed and happy and pleased to see our talk, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to be back. Thank you. I feel honored. Do you get many return people, or am I the first one?
Oh, no, we get quite a few return guests. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We've had probably the record holder is Baby Doll. She's been with us 6 times. She is a professional wrestling personality. Yeah. 6 times.
I saw her. Cool.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful lady. Dear friend of mine. Good lady. We're back with our co-host Amelia. Amelia, I have to ask you, what's the buzz, cuz? How was your week?
It's been an interesting week so far. Gas prices are ridiculous, but hey, what can we do, right?
Now, you're in Florida.
Yes.
So what are we looking at in Florida?
Yes, it's within the past 2 days, it was, let's see, it was $329, $349, $369. Now we're looking at $399 to $419 within 2-3 days.
I'm in New Jersey, and it's already $5.19 a gallon.
Wow.
We're at
Pennsylvania.
We're at 370. We're at 370 a gallon. Yeah.
I wish we were.
Yeah, we've got a real problem on our hands, don't we, folks? It's really a crying shame why we can't open up our
Joe Biden.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well, we can't open up our spigots of oil. My goodness. The cleanest country in the world, and we can't produce any oil.
Well, no, that's quite the contrary. We are overproducing oil to such a point that we are supplying other countries with gasoline and oil, but they won't produce it for our own people. And that's why Joe Biden is a traitor and a disgrace to the United States of America and should be tried for treason.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Michigan.
Awfully close, because he seems to be doing an extremely good job at doing everything he can to destroy what America is all about. And everything I'm trying to do, encourage people to start their own business. Who wants to start a business in this climate?
Well, you can't. That's the whole point, Bruce, and you're right. But the whole point is you can't. Nor would anyone with a reasonably sound mind, nor would they want to at this point. The problem is you have an economy that, for all intents and purposes, is solvent and solid. The only problem with that economy. Go ahead.
I was very concerned during the Clinton years and the Obama years what they were doing to the country, and I thought, oh my gosh, poor country. But then now that in reflecting back, America and our great economy bounced through it. We got through all that despite what they were doing. And
in no part
so
because of
resilient
them.
a country. Yeah.
And
we're so resilient.
In no part because of them.
Okay. Well, and now under Biden, we've seen such destruction in 1 year. It blows me away. It's scary.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
It's inconceivable that one man could do this much damage.
Yeah, and it's just as it's interesting how we saw America witnessed what we could create in 1 year under Trump, or
within the first 6 months, he was remarkable.
In 4 years with Donald Trump.
And just grew, and everything was great. And boy, have we seen some devastation since Uncle Joe got in.
Yes.
Well, in 4 years with Donald Trump, the American economy has seen prosperity, unlike since Ronald Reagan was president. And that's not rhetoric, that's factual. Check the numbers. Barack Obama is a piece of shit. Bill Clinton's a piece of shit and a whoremonger. Joe Biden is just a dumb fucking piece of shit and a whoremonger. And likes him young.
I'm not. I tell you, Trump showed how we can do it, and it was just blew me away how strong and how willing people were willing to take the chances that I took way back.
The Democratic Party is not happy until they've successfully created conflict.
Exactly.
And Uncle Joe created conflict big time.
Oh, well, I saw it all begin under Obama. I saw division created right there with that man.
Oh, sure.
And
who was his vice president? Uncle Joe was his vice president.
Right, right. And we're seeing. Well, it's just gotten out of hand. It's amazing. You'd think that we'd be so resilient we could see through it. I think most Americans do see through what they're doing to us, and or what they're attempting to do to us, and create all the divisions. No matter if it's rich, poor, man, woman, white, black, it doesn't matter. They find a way of putting a wedge. And you know what? You don't call them the left. Don't call them liberals. Don't call them the Democratic Party. What I see doing what's going on is Marxists. They are Marxists.
Absolutely.
Who support what's going on. And so let's,
of course.
It's gotten to the point where the true classic name for liberal, I think, is today the Trump supporter. We are in the classic sense. I mean, we're liberal thinkers. We're thinking outside the box. We're looking for ideas and open-minded and change. And it's not like it was, or I should say, it's gotten beyond liberal. I mean, it is Marxist.
Absolutely, of course. Well, socialism at its core is evil. Okay, call it Marxist. Call it leftist, call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is, socialism at its core is evil. It destroys families, it destroys souls, it destroys economies, it destroys entire fabric of countries. And that's who's running this country now. A guy who's hell-bent and has been hell-bent for the last 49 years. 49 years. He's been trying to destroy that which created him. And if people don't understand that, then they're dumb fucks that are just like him. I call a dumb fuck a dumb fuck. Okay? He's a dumb fuck.
Yes.
Well, what I see is, if you can call it everything you want. To me, it's spiritual warfare at this point.
It's absolutely spiritual warfare, and thank you for bringing that up, because I'll tell you what, countries are waking up in a way, people are waking up in a way as never before and discovering their inner truth, their inner light as to what really is going on around us, and it is a principality and dominion warfare. Absolutely.
I agree. Can you still hear me right now? Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
You can hear me because I just got
Yes.
speakers going.
Yes.
I'm hanging
terrific.
up the phone.
Perfect. Yes.
Had to go in the system, push a button.
Yay.
That works for us.
There you go.
So yeah, and I'll tell you what, I have really strong political views that get me in trouble on fascist book. My new name for Facebook, fascist book.
Oh, I'm for the first time. I'm unrestricted.
Yeah.
I'm going to need Amelia to really stay on Facebook because when I leave, I'm going to need some eyes and ears there. I'm also going to need a representative of the show there. So what are you laughing for? I'm serious.
He'll be banned for 30 days, probably. No.
I'm serious. Are you kidding me? 30 days. You can. I was banned for 72 days.
Oh my gosh.
For calling Mark Zuckerberg
I'm 3 months, 90 days. I'm not banned, but I'm restricted 90 days.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Did you tell them to go fuck themselves?
I had no way of protesting. I couldn't find any place to protest in Facebook.
You just found
about
that right here.
Yeah.
You found it.
Might as well say we've all been banned before from Facebook a couple of times or two.
Yeah. And it's amazing what they're complaining about are articles from the UK. Articles. It's not my voice. I just repeated it of somebody else saying something.
Yeah.
Or I repeated it by forwarding the article. My goodness.
Yeah. What advice would you give an entrepreneur today starting a business because of everything that's going on right now?
Good luck.
Oh, well, you know what? It boils down to everything that I promote in my book. Starts with being willing to take a risk, having the vision, or some people call it a business plan, but
right.
And hiring the right people. Don't let emotions get in the way. I failed to mention something that was kind of funny in the last video. I mentioned briefly about emotion, and remember my first fail. Oh, by the way, Amelia, you asked for a prototype. This is not the prototype. This is the actual production of a fold-up hoop that I envisioned. This was my vision.
Oh,
and so
that's pretty cool.
So I got that going for me. Anyway,
I love
it. And I know. And I mentioned also how I borrowed money from my credit cards, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, before I got on that part of it, I told you I had to build a whole nother mold. I didn't have the money, or actually, I did borrow for that second mold from my credit cards. But then I saw where things were growing to where we had to have more and more models, and our models kept on growing, and every single mold's $20,000 to $50,000.
Yes.
And so that I didn't want to have to put out the money for, but yet I was the manufacturer, so I had to produce. So I wrote a letter. Now, talk about not having money, right? I wrote a letter to whom it may concern. And I said, and I had a little track record of I was in the Metrodome. I was in a few theaters around Twin Cities, and Homer, Alaska was one of my first ones from the trade show. And I wrote this letter because I knew I had to build another mold that had multiple inserts for different mounting brackets. And to whom it may concern, I have a track record. I need $50,000. I will pay you back at 25 cents cup holder until you get it was like a 20% return on your investment. Okay. And I sought out relatives, parents, family, friends. I begged for somebody to lend me this money and take this risk. And I had no takers. And it took me about a month. And finally, I went to other businesses. Finally, I came across an injection mold guy, an actual local guy, who I said, hey, here's my letter. I need a mold built, 50 grand. And he says, okay, I'll do it. And so that really got us on the road with a bunch of new models that we needed so soon after this failure, and my other one, which was do I have one here? Hold on. No. Anyway, the next generation from this was a little crude, and it not crude. It would apply to everything, but you had to screw holes in the back of the seat, and they weren't into that. So anyway, and this guy finally took it on. He built this mold. Didn't cost me a dime. And, 20 years later, after I'd sold it and everything, I still kept in touch with him a little bit. And I asked him, I said, do you have any regrets about doing that? He says, not at all. He was very happy to do that deal. So, it's creative fun seeking, if you will.
Yeah. Speaking of creative, I got a little creative myself this week. I put together a little video slideshow of some of Bruce Clark's lesser known accomplishments. Let's take a look. There's Bruce.
What has he here?
Of course, the inventor of the cup holder. There's your book. Your book. Create Your American Dream. For those that are not familiar with your book. No, I was just going to say, Bruce. I don't want to. Go ahead.
Don't buy it. I was kind of ashamed of it. And it is on my website. It's available on Amazon. But like I told you last week, I had 3 different editors go through this thing, and by the time it got printed, mistake after mistake, and I'm just so embarrassed. And I had a guy clean it up, and he added a couple hundred pages, and now it's something, and it's not out yet because we're going with this Create Your American Dream is my own self-publishing attempt.
Yeah.
And, as an adventure guy that doesn't know quite what I'm doing, I stumbled around, I made some mistakes, and and I have a publicist type of person who's really pushing me to get it published from a real publisher and make sure it's done right. Yeah, there's my first shop I had.
Yeah, this is from Bruce Clark's website. There actually, you have 2 websites that lead to the same. BruceDouglasClark.com and and Invent Your Path. They both lead to this site. This is you spoke about having an auto shop. This was your shop.
This was the very first shop that a guy called me. I was working on. I just got back from being a lobster fisherman for a summer, and I wanted to start this Minnetonka kite company using building Nagasaki and Malaysian fighting kites. You ever heard of them? They are so cool. Yeah. And they are these kites that sit in the air. They do this. They just do this. When you let the wind take it, if you let the wind take it, and if it's starting to go in one direction, it'll continue in that direction. And once it's pointed in the direction you want it to go, and you pull on that string, it'll go straight in that direction, straight as an arrow.
Absolutely.
And so you have dogfights in the air, play around together, and first one to hit the ground loses. It's really cool. Anyway,
very popular. So those kites are actually very popular.
They're huge in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Malaysia.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you where else they're popular, and it might surprise you. Wildwood, New Jersey. They're very popular there on the beach. They actually do compete with each other, and they do in fact have the for lack of a better term, dog fights on the beach in the air. Absolutely.
Yeah, there was an episode of The Big Bang Theory also that they did something like that.
Yeah.
They're really cool. It's good for you. It's a neat deal. Anyway, and I needed $10,000 to start that, and I didn't have it. And I got a phone call from this guy who had a local gas station that knew me. He asked me, "Hey, you want to rent out my back stall for $100 a month and start a business?" I go, "Sure." So that's how I got into the car repair business. Now you're showing my racing career. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to tell me about this. All this money you spent to have it crashed up.
Nah. Well, that's another cool story. When I had my shop, I had bought the first blue car in the West. And I always wanted to have a race car, and I had been autocrossing a Saab Sonnet, modified, of course. And it was time up. A buddy had this old 1968 Brabham BT21, an ex-Formula 2 car, and I raced that for one race. And before I sold it to this guy, let me show you a picture of what I ended up buying that's you're seeing up in the air crashing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine spending all that money to have it crash? Oh, look at this. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's gorgeous. This guy, a famous race car driver named Jerry Hansen, he won more national champions than anyone in America ever. Amateur national champions. And he happened to live nearby. And he owned, do you? Cool. He owned Donnybrook Racetrack. And he met a friend of mine, met him and said, "Hey, I got a buddy who's just bought this car." And Jerry says, "Well, hey, you should buy mine. It's brand new. It's 1 year old." And my friend called and said, well, check it out. And I go, "Why? I don't have money to buy a 1 year old Jerry Hansen race car." And so I said, it won't cost me anything to go to his house and listen to his pitch, right?
Yeah.
We made a deal. I gave him this race car. I gave him $3,000 cash.
Oh my!
And he took payments. He took $350 a month payments, and he was at my door every month. And I bought this thing, and I started to frickin' win races. I won 11 out of 17 races, set 3 track records. I was
crazy.
Quick flash in the pan, but it was a very fast car. Formula Atlantic, extremely fast, and what a dream come true! It was great.
That's a hell of a dream, brother. A very pricey dream.
I've had many dreams come true in my life. Everything I put my mind to, it's come to fruition, and that's America for you. Now, here's an interesting picture.
Yeah, I got some questions before you volunteer any information. I got some questions about this chapter in your life. Evidently, you and the missus made quite a little career out of going from game show to game show and just beating the crap out of them. Now, either you have a strategy and an inside track to winning at game shows, or you are the luckiest son of a bitch in the world.
It's really interesting. We happened to be in Las Vegas one year, and we came across at one of the places they had this show with Wink Martindale called Gambit. And we thought, well, why not? They're looking for contestants. We were there. Let's try and get on. We got on, and we won. We won $150 cash and $600 worth of bit of honey and Kentucky Fried Chicken coupons. And that gave us a taste, right? And so,
oh my God.
My wife is looking through some Hollywood deal. They were talking about a new show where they're going to be giving away a house, and with Bob Eubanks. And so she tells me about it. I go, yeah, right, sure. But at the time we were looking for a house. We couldn't afford a bigger house. We were starting a family, and we needed a bigger house. And so I thought, okay, let's go out there, see what happens. It was at Burbank Studios, right across the hall from Johnny Carson's show.
Oh, my God.
We not only got on the show, we won 6 shows in a row.
Wow.
And we won.
I heard.
6 rooms of furniture, 2 trips, and the house. We won the freaking house.
Yeah.
And
you gotta tell me how you pulled this together.
Well, my wife was very fast in the buzzer. And I got a few things right, but she was so fast. And once you hit the buzzer first, you control the true or false or multiple choice question.
Well, I
And
have a
she's
question about that. You said that she was quick on the buzzer, but apparently it wasn't just that show. She was apparently quick on the buzzer with a lot of shows.
well
The
after this
headline
experience,
here.
after
Well,
you win a house, you feel you can do anything. And she went on every radio show you could imagine. She was on. We were on another game show, a Chance of a Lifetime, I think it was called,
yes.
where you can win $1 million. We won $2,800 and paid for the trip to California. And then my wife got on another show. I forget the name of it, and she won a car.
Wow.
And you can see in the upper left hand, a National Enquirer came over and did a big story on us. And you know what's interesting about our press? You know, we talk about don't believe everything you read. When they came over to take photos of our winnings, they happened to have the script laying on the bed. And I was looking through it, and I couldn't believe the story they made up that was so untrue. They had me being her slave and her butler, and you know,
Oh my
it was
God.
just ridiculous. And I called them on it, and they go, "Oh, okay, we'll fix that." And they did. And finally, the article was quite true. But my wife would call up all these radio stations that were giving away this or that. And at one time, she signed me up with another couple at a radio station. Whoever could assemble 2 bicycles the quickest won the bicycles. And of course, being an ex-mechanic, hey, I won. You know,
there you go.
Of course.
Nice
Imagine that.
But you say it, about luck. And let me tell you something about that game show. Prior to that, we studied People Magazine, Us Magazine, Trivial Pursuit, every one that we could get our hands on. We went through every one of those questions. We studied every one of those people. And it was amazing how many questions came up from what we had studied. So I'll tell you, we made our own luck. And you know what's another interesting thing about that whole story? After we got finished winning the house, you know, you want to tell your friends about it. You want to, you know, hey, I won a house. Hey, wow. And there were 2 types of responses from people. And this is interesting. One response would be, "Oh, I'm so happy for you. It's so cool. Oh, cool." And, you know, you'd expect that. Other people, "Oh, you lucky son of a bitch. I can't believe you're lucky." And they were miserable, and they were resentful. And I was taken back.
That's why, and I'm glad you answered the question the way you did. That's why I asked the question. You did some, you know, some research, or you had an inside track, or you were just the luckiest bastard in the world. There's and for those people. Well, I just hold on just a second, Bruce, because I want people to see, or I want them to hear what they can't really see well.
Yes.
Up on the screen, it says here, and it's interesting the way it's written. It says, "Contest Crazy Mom wins $200,000 in prizes." That's the first article. The second article is, and the winner is, local woman makes a living winning. Now, there was no
not quite. We had a few good years.
Yeah, and there's
She
no
was
mention
a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the question I have for you.
I don't care.
It all comes. Well, that's the question I have is very simple. Is Mrs. Lucky still with you, or did Mrs. Lucky
but
get
you know, we were together 20 years, and we kind of fell apart. But we're still good friends. She's a mother of my children. I respect her highly. We get along great. Our divorce was not ugly, so I still love her. She's a good woman.
Beautiful. I like a happy ending like that. I really do. That to me is a happy ending, even though, you know, there was a divorce involved. The fact that you're civil and you talk and you still love each other, that's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. Now, here is Bruce Clark and his cup holders.
Yes.
And anybody that's been to a game knows that site well. It's behind the seat. There are, to the right of every seat is a cup holder. And now you see
No,
them.
to the left.
Say, was that Bruce?
That's
Say
a
again?
joke.
Oh.
No, they're to the left.
Oh, yeah, it could be to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, depending on you look at it.
Let's use
now,
right. I like that term better.
There are many variations now of the Clark cup holder.
Yes.
There are those behind the seat. There are those in the center of the armrest, built right into the armrest. Movie theaters, I think, are the most prolific because they've got now cup holders with 3 different sizes within the unit.
Yes.
It'll fit a 24-ounce, a 32-ounce, and a 48-ounce cup in the same holder. It's an interesting design. If you really take a look at it, it's pretty clever.
Well, is that only in one stadium that you saw that 3-level type of cup holder, or
no,
is that only one place?
They're all in different stadiums
Bruce,
now.
It's actually what was, I'm sorry, Amelia, what was that, babe?
They're in pretty much all the stadiums now because of the different type of concerts that you can go to and hockey and things like that.
All of them have cup holders, but are they the 3-tiered sizes?
Yeah, 3-tier sizes.
And I'll tell you,
I
have to agree with her because I will tell you here in Philadelphia, Bruce.
Yeah,
we've got the Wells Fargo Center, the Lincoln Financial Field, and Citizens Bank Arena. Where the Philadelphia Phillies play, the Philadelphia Eagles play, and any number of concert venues at the Wells Fargo Center, including the Philadelphia Flyers. And I will tell you that every one of those 26,000 seats has a cup holder on it.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
I
didn't realize it was that style.
Yeah. Even the ones in the VIP boxes, they're also equipped in the VIP boxes and the corporate boxes. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see various sizes.
We had a wonderful run. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that the Clark cup holder, we're going to call it the Clark cup holder because this is yours that we're looking at.
Yes.
That
was a one size. Bruce, was that for like a 32-ounce cup or?
Yeah, they after I sold the company, they came out with a lot other models, and so that could have been one of them. Like I said last week, that it's possible that that's how another company may have come in and gotten around our patents.
Yeah.
Because now
they make those in a behind. Yeah, there's the brochure.
Yes.
Yeah. Now this is with the caddy cup holder. This here.
That's
Yeah, and this was the original, the schematic for it, Bruce.
Right. We had to make this brochure a drawing because the mold wasn't done in time for the trade show. Well, it was, but it didn't get done for 3 weeks prior to having to leave for the show. We had to get this brochure done, so we had no choice but to make it this way. And little hokey, but hey, it's time for everything.
Yeah. And now here's Bruce in a very, I guess a long time ago, because you looked like you're maybe about 35. You're about 35, 37 here.
That was 1980, something late 80s.
If you're older than 35 in this picture, man, then you look good.
Yeah, I'm a whippersnapper.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
You're a whippersnapper, brother. I'll tell you what. But that's Bruce Clark in his element, and behind him, you saw all of the and I definitely want to make sure that the people take a look at your websites, inventyourpath.com and BruceDouglasClark.com, Bruce's websites. Now, let's get back to where we were here. And I'm going to bring Bruce back up here in front and center. So, yeah, it's interesting that you have that you've had this diversified career. I had no idea that you actually, you and your wife actually made a according to some, I don't know if you know this, but according to some articles, it was as much as $700,000, house not included, and upwards of $1 million, house included.
Oh, no. We were 1099 for $138,000 back when we won the house.
Okay.
And my wife went through everything we won, and she found advertisements for the same thing with a lot lower selling price. And so we reported to the IRS the actual value of the things we won, not based on the 1099. We saved like $20,000 off our tax because of, we had to mortgage that free house to pay for the taxes.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah.
Nothing's for free.
I'll tell you what. We have been speaking on the subject of entrepreneurship. One of the preeminent entrepreneurs in America is a gentleman, and I'm sure just about every household in the country has at least one article of Tommy Hilfiger clothing or something with Tommy Hilfiger's name on it. Tommy Hilfiger is
Tommy Bahama.
Yeah.
That's the guy I interviewed. Hilfiger. Yeah, Tommy Bahama.
Yeah. He says the road to success is not easy to navigate, but with hard work, drive, and passion, it's possible to achieve the American dream. Yeah, Tommy Hilfiger.
Right on the money. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the guy I interviewed that's also a competitor of Tommy's.
No, anyway, I know who Tommy Bahama is. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Tommy Bahama.
Right.
Got a hell of a line of product. Big time. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, Tommy Hilfiger is one of these guys, a fascinating guy because, again, he's one of these people, you know the name, but I'll bet you if Tommy Hilfiger bit someone on the ass, they'd have a hard time identifying him. You know? He's one of these guys you don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know what he looks like. I have no idea. I have not a clue what Tommy Hilfiger looks like.
Well, I encourage everyone to go to my website and listen to my interview with Bob Emfield. He's the creator of Tommy Bahama.
Yeah,
which it's a real interesting story because he started off just like me without money and met the right people to really make things happen. But Hilfiger he's so right about that. There's a lot of basics that I push that you can be a Harvard business student, top in the class, and if you don't have the basics, forget about it. You're going to struggle like
my
mad.
God, sure, absolutely.
As far as
yeah.
I want people to take a listen to this. Yeah, Bruce, I want people to take a listen to this, and then I want you to comment. I love entrepreneurship because that's what makes this country grow. And if it can help companies grow, if I can help companies grow, I'm creating jobs and I'm setting foundations for future generations. It sends the message that the American dream is alive and well. Mark Cuban is the guy who said that.
Yes.
Another guy, everyone knows who Mark Cuban is. You can see him weekly or daily in some markets on Shark Tank. He is a self-made billionaire. And again, it had his name on everything from clothing to pharmaceuticals. So
he's a very bright man, extremely bright.
Incredibly bright and very courageous to take a chance. But if you got his kind of money, you can take a chance. Again, we addressed the subject last week, Bruce, of people who cannot afford to make that dream happen. So oftentimes they are left to just squander their dream, or if they're fortunate enough, like myself, to slip in front of someone who does have the money to make it happen. Fortunately, you'll never see the electric spaghetti fork because it took a shit. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
So what do you think of what Mark Cuban says?
Well, he's right on the money. It's so true. I'll tell you, I couldn't believe being a manufacturer and distributor for the cup holder, how many people we gave work to. From the mold builder to the injection molding people to the engineers that had to figure out the right pressures and temperatures and which plastics to use, to the packaging companies, to the art design people designing the packaging, to the sales forces, the manufacturers' representatives we gave a cut to the delivery, the warehouse people. I mean, it just goes on and on. To the installers, we had a number of installers throughout the country that they had a whole teams of people who go in and outfit a stadium or a theater complex. And oh my gosh, it really, really, really did indeed employ a lot of people. And it wasn't all via our employees. It was the people that our product caused to have to get paid for doing their part in it. And it's a wonderful, capitalism is a wonderful, free enterprise. It's a wonderful system. It works so well. And
you know what, Bruce, I agree with you. Capitalism is the best system when it works. And when it does not work, it can kill you. It can kill you financially,
well, if you let it.
And it can kill you physically. Amelia, you've been ominously quiet.
I've been listening.
I don't want you to listen. I want you to tell Angelo, shut up. I want to talk.
Hey, you told me not to interrupt my elders, and that includes you.
Elders. Bruce, fire up my walker, Bruce.
Yeah, right. He said not to interrupt, right?
Let me go take my Geritol. I'll be back. Oh my God. Go ahead, ask your question, smart ass.
Well, he did say not to interrupt, right? No, but I was thinking about what you were saying about the entrepreneurship, and I have a friend that he started off wanting to be a photographer, but of course he didn't have the money, so he decided to do some modeling, and he has a pretty face, nice body and everything, so he decided to become a model first and started up that way and got a small camera and then started taking pictures and so forth, and now he became a famous photographer. And so he started taking pictures, and he's on books and stuff like that. And then, so he became a world famous photographer. And then he said, you know what, I can do something better. So I'm going to become a realtor to help my photography business. So that helped a lot better. And then he says, you know what, I think I can do better than that. I'm going to be entrepreneur. I'm going to be started to not like a pyramid thing, but it's something similar. And before you know it, he's out with buying Mercedes. He's got money. And of course, he lost both of his parents at a young age. So he had to really, really start helping himself, better life for himself. And now he has a house in Massachusetts and in Fort Lauderdale. And
I've got to jump in here.
Bravo, bravo.
I've got to jump in here, Bruce. I want to ask you a question while it's still hot on the trail here.
Mm-hmm. See how he interrupts me now?
Yeah. Amelia said something. Well, no, actually, Amelia, what you said prompted it was a very good point.
Yes.
I'm going to piggyback on it.
Yes.
I want Bruce to comment because this is a really interesting thing that's happening.
Yes.
You used the word pyramid.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bruce, like
Amway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was doing that. I tried Amway, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I want to, and I'm glad that you said multi-level marketing.
Yes.
Because it is different. It is different from pyramid schemes.
Yes.
It's a very different approach.
Yes.
The idea with the pyramid scheme is that you lay all this brick on the bottom and that you systematically build to this pinnacle on top where the pot of gold waits you. Okay. Which of course is a lot of horseshit.
Exactly.
Multi-level marketing is a different approach, and therein lies the information and knowledge of Bruce Clark. Bruce, educate us on multi-level marketing and how and why does it different from the pyramid structure?
So many people can get into multi-level marketing for next to nothing. It's very inexpensive, and there's a lot of different products and things out there. I tried a number of them. I mean, I did Shackley, Amway, Sprint when Sprint first came out. I forget. Herbalife. Anyway, when I say I did them,
please.
Yeah. When I say I did them,
into that Herbalife crap.
I got sucked in, but you know what? It wasn't right for me. Now, what it requires is everybody you look at needs to be your customer, and that's the only problem I have with multi-level marketing. And I didn't. I wanted to look at people for other reasons and things, and I didn't want to look at them as a mark, that I could sell to, or that could be a dealer and have them over for dinner to do a pitch. It just wasn't me. I couldn't do it for that very reason. But some people are extremely good at it, and it works for them, and they hustle. And you do have to hustle in that business. You got to, and in rejection, but that's with anything. Yeah, you just got to have a thick skin, go through the rejection, and you throw enough mud up in the wall, and it'll stick. So yes, it does work.
Right, and now he's actually doing. He's going to different places and doing a story, and explaining how his life was without his mother. And the sad part is that he knew his mother was sick when he was little, but she still managed to bake cookies with them even though she wasn't feeling well. And it was so hard for him growing up, and he was going to school, but then at the same time coming home to his mom not feeling well. And then his mom passed away. His dad was home, but then he was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and he's like, something's got to change. So he decided to better himself, and then now he's giving lectures on how to better yourself. He's pretty much like a life coach, helping people how to better themselves. Yes.
And once again, Amelia prompts a question for Bruce Clark.
Go ahead.
I've got a question for you about psychology, the mindset of the entrepreneur. Very rarely have I read or heard of a success story from someone who already has money. Okay? The success stories you hear are from people who do not have money, who come from very poor, in some cases, very humble beginnings.
Yes.
Is there a mindset and a psychology that is more acclimated to the entrepreneurial spirit? Does having no money accelerate the drive? And in some cases, does having money,
or the desire?
Yeah, there's it's a two-pronged approach. You get where I'm going with it.
Oh, sure. I wrote an essay about building an entrepreneurial mind. And I say to start, it's all about attitude. You can choose to focus what can go wrong or what can you do to make it go right. I talked about Zig Ziglar and not having any thinking. Then you build a creative mind. Don't accept anything the way it is. Look at all things as nice attempt, but it's not the only way. And then know hard work is the norm. Don't expect anything will be easy. Whether you work for someone else or work for yourself, expect to work hard. I mean, it's just the way it is in life. If you're lazy, forget being an entrepreneur. And we talked this about, know also that chasing the buck can be futile.
Yeah.
All about the dollar. Yes, indeed, it's important, but it's not all about that. And then, seeking quality help. Find people smarter than yourself. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I had a lot of what do you call those non-compete clauses? Not a non-compete clause, a non-disclosure document
Oh,
Yes.
I made up
non-disclosure, sure, yeah.
Non-disclosures. Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot of people sign those before I had a
Mm-hmm.
patent or just an idea.
Yeah.
That's a
And
smart thing to do. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, you got
Because
to
if
do
you,
Well, I
that.
mean,
And
without it, you're opening
yes.
yourself up for all kinds of theft and libel.
Yes.
oh yeah, oh
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely,
Like
sure.
that's what I should have recommended you do, Angelo, with your spinning fork idea. You should have had a
Mm-hmm.
non-disclosure agreement that you had this jerk sign,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, well, when you're 17 years old, 18 years old, who thinks about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you
Right.
know? You hadn't talked to
You
me
just
yet.
you
Yeah.
just think that you came up with the next big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if
And
you
then I
think, if
talk
you
about
look at that, go ahead. I'm
well, I
sorry.
talk
Again,
about
okay.
also, be professional.
Yes.
Come across as professionally as possible. Um, you know, don't try and be somebody you're not. Just be
Mm-hmm.
professional. Be
Yeah,
straight.
Right.
Uh, act
I
professional. People
that's
will take you more
that piece
seriously and
of
they'll listen to you
advice.
more.
Mm-hmm.
That singular piece of advice,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is the most fundamental advice anyone could ever offer. Just
Absolutely.
be you. Don't try to be
Yeah,
anybody else. Be you.
Right. Because if you look at
a
Oprah Winfrey, where
professional.
she started from, look at her now, and she started from nothing. She's a better woman for it now, and she's like rich, a billionaire probably now, and compared to a conglomerate company handed to you from daddy, you know,
Yeah.
some,
Don't kid yourself, Amelia. Oprah Winfrey is a conglomerate company.
I mean, she wasn't before. I mean, where she started from, she built herself up from nothing,
Sure. Well, it
you know,
wasn't nothing, but she had a lot of help.
right? But she
Oprah
started
had a
from
And
lot
then
of
nothing.
help.
learning salesmanship. Sell cars for a year, and I tell you
Mm-hmm.
what, I used to be a
Yeah.
Snap-on tool distributor, and I
Yes.
did that for a
Yeah.
couple of years. And
Mm-hmm.
I was rookie of the year my first year, and number two in the
Mm-hmm.
500 area my second year. So I was
Yeah.
very successful. But that is
Uh-huh.
establishing. Did we talk about this last week? That was establishing relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
you
Oh,
can
Oh,
do
yes.
that
absolutely. But you can
relationships over
never,
time.
Right.
in my opinion, you can never emphasize that enough, because
Exactly.
that's the one
Oh,
thing in especially Bruce, in this day and age where interpersonal relationships are so jumbled, intermingled. In some cases, it's like stepping on each other. No one has. No, I don't think anybody considers now the impact of social media on entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and again, just my opinion, I think that the social media dilemma, and I'm going to call it what it is,
Mm-hmm.
the social media dilemma that we're facing is dramatically and drastically infringing upon and hindering the entrepreneurial spirit, because
whoa!
everything.
It's
uh,
another tool. I look at it as another tool.
Oh, I don't see it as a tool. I'll tell you what I see it as. I see it as a
Today's
means
media,
by
what we're
which.
doing now.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. No, I'm not talking about what we're doing now. I'm talking about people, for example, who go on a Zoom meeting, for example, and
Right.
they're
Oh,
pitching ideas back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's listening and watching.
right.
You're
Right.
assuming that the person on the other side of that camera is your friend.
Right.
And then 10 minutes
Yeah.
after he gets off,
I see
you
what
under,
you're saying. Yeah. Interpersonal
and
relationships, like you said.
yeah,
Yes.
and then 10 minutes after you get off that Zoom call, he's on the phone with his patent attorney, hawking your idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Kind of hard to have them sign a non-disclosure statement over a Zoom call, isn't it?
Right.
You're making my point for me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that.
You
And then,
understand what
yeah,
I mean
right.
now?
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the same. Face-to-face contact is so important. And, you know, getting
Absolutely.
back to the salesmanship idea, there's so many people I've heard say, well, I'm not a salesman. I don't like salesmen. I don't want to be a salesman. Well, guess what, pal, ma'am? You were a salesman since you were a little kid trying to sell your parents on giving you an extra cookie. How about as a teenager trying to stay out later? You know, I mean, you've been selling people all your life, you never even knew it. You
Or one
just
more
got to
glass of water
redefine
before
that.
you go to bed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Yep.
One more story, Daddy. You know, and you know that's why I say you
Yeah.
sell cars for a year, because that teaches you. And when somebody goes to buy a car, they talk to salesman right away. They look at you as a liar, a cheat, and a thief. So
Absolutely.
you've got to establish this before and learn the art of salesmanship. And there are steps you got to follow. You can't miss out on any one of those steps in a short period of time. You got to show yourself in 15 minutes to give them what they want, and that's the critical part of the salesmanship process that everybody should learn. You're selling. If you're not selling a product, you're selling a service. You know, if you're in your own business, you have to.
Yes.
That's the key. It's a service.
Absolutely.
And we live in a society now that has forgotten the premise of service related, you know, interpersonal service related.
Well, all businesses are a product or service, or
exactly.
both. I mean,
but,
what else is there, right?
But we've forgotten how to interact with each other.
Yes.
And that,
well,
and
we're forgetting quickly. I know it. These young kids. Oh, I feel sorry for them. Oh my goodness.
I do too.
What are they learning in the
I really do.
Yes.
Because you brought up a good point, Bruce. You brought up a really good point that this medium by which we are communicating is a very powerful medium. We're reaching people around the world as we speak right now.
Yeah, that is so cool.
It's fascinating to think about that. You know, it's funny because I was interviewed today. By the way, shout out to Greg Gilbert, Python's Paradise. Thank you. That was one hell of an interview, and I cannot wait to come back, and I can't wait for you to come on my show in 3 weeks. That said, we had an interesting conversation today because he asked me how I started, and I said, I just began my career I wanted to be a disc jockey. My hero growing up was Wolfman Jack.
Knew what he wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up. My hero was a guy named Wolfman Jack. You know.
Sure.
And
out of LA, right?
I know who that is.
Absolutely, God, the Wolfman. He was, "How baby, y'all with the Wolfman?"
Yeah.
You know, and I was like,
"Wasn't he out of
hero?"
LA?
Huh? Say again.
Wasn't he out of LA?
He was out of
Wolfman Jack.
He was out of LA, but he started out in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, of all places.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
He started out at a like a 3,000 watt station in the middle of nowhere. And somebody heard him. Go ahead.
Well, I want to make sure that, you know, I told you last week that my goal in all this, what I'm trying to do with this book and everything, is be the liaison to the guy that has an idea or might want to start a business. He's on the fence, and he just doesn't know if he should do it or not. And or the people who think that they don't have any hopes and dreams. And I tell you, every one of us, there's two things that we all have. We all have a gift that God gives us, right? It's an absolute gift that we are better than normal. I mean, and we can do it really easily. And so I encourage people to harness that gift and work it. Did I mention this last week? I may have. I don't know. Anyway, and build that talent.
It's probably worth repeating anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's something deep in your heart a gift that you're just naturally good at. And then the other aspect to the equation, and you could be successful based on that one talent, but then consider also search your heart and what do you love? You have a love affair with something that you just
pizza. I have a
really
love affair with pizza.
Yeah, or with children, or with gotta be careful these days on that one. No, you know what I mean. You know, you love tinkering with cars, you love doing this or that.
Yeah.
But you know, when you combine those two things, you know, a gift with a love of your heart, you are so guaranteed success. You are absolutely. How can you go wrong unless you're lazy?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and that seems to be epidemic these days. Laziness is epidemic. Thank you to the United States government.
Exactly.
This conversation has
No,
come full
I
circle.
think our university.
Yes. A lot of people would rather be
I
on
think our.
unemployment than getting a job when
Yeah.
there's plenty out
And
there.
and I think thanks to people like Bruce Clark, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. I think there are enough good, smart, decent people left in this country, certainly in the world,
Yes.
that I think the idea of Bruce's core principles of do what you love, be the best at what you can be, and don't stop until it's done. That those core principles are still alive and well, and they do exist among a great many people. Sadly, we're creating a society of lazy people, but I think there are still a decent amount of hardworking, smart working people
Yes.
who have the wherewithal to make the entrepreneurial dream come alive in their life and for their family and for generations of world citizens to come.
Absolutely.
Bruce Clark
You know,
is a.
I got to
Go ahead,
add a
Bruce.
story to.
Yes, sir.
As a Snap-on dealer, you know, they grabbed me into the corporate aspect, and I started climbing the corporate ladder. At one point, I was, I was having to put on other Snap-on dealers, recruit them, train them, and make them successful. And boy, that was not easy because once they're a dealer, they're independent and you can't hire them. And I learned that you hire a clod, you train a clod, and all you got is a trained clod. And
exactly,
I really struggled, and I found the secret formula for finding the right kind of people.
Really,
farmers. Everyone I put on was super successful. Well, what's interesting, they know hard work. They know the value of money. They know how to use tools. They're honest. They know how to get up in the morning. They're generally not alcoholics you have to worry about. And they just were amazingly successful with ease.
Farmers.
And they enjoyed it. They had fun.
Yes.
Farmers. Yep.
Farmers.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. One of them used to come. One of them used to come to my mom's father's house. Yes. One of them used to come to my grandfather's house all the time, my mom's side of the family, because my grandfather was a mechanic. So entrepreneur all the time. That's all he did for a living. And he used to say, oh my goodness, look at all these grandkids, because there was like 10 or 15 of us all the time there. And he's like, this man right here, Manuel Ramirez, used to put all my kids through college. All I had to do is come by. He'd buy 1 or 2 tools all the time. And this man right here put all my kids through college. He used to joke all the time. And then here comes the snow cone guy. Yep, this guy put my kids through college. Same thing. So he'd buy all of us a snow cone. Yeah, that's all he did.
Put all your kids through college. Your dream.
Yes.
If you want it bad enough, you gotta want it, and you gotta do the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really that simple, and positive mental attitude. But the people that say, well, I don't have any money and I got an idea, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start. I need money. You know what, pal? Guess what? You spend $30 on a nice business card, a well-designed business card that puts your dream business on there. And then you use that to introduce your idea or yourself or your product to whoever will listen. And I tell you what, you'll be able to get a lot of questions answered. You'll be able to, and people take it seriously with a simple business card because you look professional, and you don't lie to them and say, "Yeah, I've got this, I can give it to you." No, you say, "Look, I plan on doing this, and I want to know how much interest you have. I want to know if you're interested in selling my product, if you're interested in buying my product, recommendations, blah blah blah."
Absolutely.
How much my product? And you start gathering information with that business card, and I tell you what, it snowballs. It snowballs. It can be as simple as that. A simple business card cost you $30, or it did back in my day. Maybe it's 50 now. Who knows?
Yeah, and my grandfather.
Really,
yes, my grandfather believed all the time that he believed that you help this man out, you'll end up helping yourself out in the long run, and he always did. Every time he came to my grandfather's mechanic shop, he would buy a Snap-on tool all the time.
Well, Amelia, it's the old adage, and it's true what they used to say. If
help somebody, you'll help yourself.
If you feed somebody a fish, they'll eat for a day. If you teach someone to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime.
Yes.
And
my grandfather always
I wish we had more time.
Me too.
I don't know. You might turn into a 3-parter. I don't know, brother.
Well,
would you like to? We would love for you to come back. Yes.
Well, I'll say the word. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything.
You're definitely coming back.
Yes.
I'll just tell you that straight up right now. Amelia and I are bringing the ass back here for sure.
Yes, we're going to bring you back again.
Absolutely. But we have to say goodnight to you tonight. Before we do, I want everybody to check out inventyourpath.com and BruceDouglasClark.com. They will both lead to an extraordinary website. And there's a lot of content there, folks. A lot of content. Check it out. Bruce Clark is the inventor of the Stadium and Arena Cup holder. And he's affected your life, and you may not even know it. You want to thank him? You can do it right now. Bruce Clark is the guy who put that cup holder there for your big, fat 64-ounce drink, you bastard.
Right. And I want to say real quickly, thank you to Jimmy Thunder and Boston Spencer. Thank you for your comments.
Oh, you checked them
I didn't
out.
see the comments.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
What they say?
We love the advice. Always be yourself and never lose the faith. And what's up, Angelo? You've been much love and respect.
Oh, thank you. Oh, look at that. There you go.
And we love the advice. Always be yourself and never lose the faith.
Good guy. Thank you, Boston.
Yes.
Amen.
Boston's a good
Absolutely.
guy.
All right.
Really good guy.
Thank you all.
Fabulous. I'll tell you what. We're definitely going to have Bruce Clark back. How can you just do 2 shows?
Absolutely. We got more questions.
I think, Amelia, we might end up doing like a mini series.
That sounds great.
Bruce. That's not a bad idea either.
I can talk a lot about a lot of things because, my mind looks to fix things. And I see a lot of problems in our country that have ideas. Now we can fix them. So it doesn't
there you go.
About entrepreneurship.
Is
a way for
we can bring in political views and entrepreneurship. Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to all get together maybe in a couple of weeks and have a political bullshit session.
That sounds great to me.
And like venting session.
There you go.
That sounds like a plan.
How to read the press? How to understand the press?
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, it was fun to have you again.
Oh my God, beautiful. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. You can check Bruce Clark at BruceDouglasClark.com and InventYourPath.com for Amelia Firecracker Chapman, for Amelia Living La Vida Loca Chapman, for
either
Amelia
one,
Valerio Chapman, and for Bruce Clark, inventor, and he's.
Love you, America. We love you.
On that note, I'm Mad Dog to say we'll see you next time.
Okay.
All right. Good guys. Thank you.